Hey there guys, welcome to Take the Blast, and you are watching our video that is going to prepare you for all the upcoming Twin Suns pods and events at the Galactic Championships and every kind of event that you could be playing, whether it's a casual game or just something that's happening in your local store. These are our best tips that are going to get you the edge in your Twin Suns games and hopefully win you some nice prizes at the GCs, because they look really good and we're all very jealous of everyone that's getting to play over there, because some of those cards look absolutely outrageous.
They look so good.
Looks so good. So if anyone gets a spare and they want to send it to us, let us know.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Spare four,
really nice
just
thing.
Yeah, one of each.
One each.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
great.
Yeah, because we can't share. That's outrageous.
Obviously. But yeah, we've devised a list of tips that we think every Twin Suns player should bear in mind, but especially if you're going into a slightly more competitive arena, these are things that will get you the wins more often than not. So, Steve, why don't you roll off one of your tips that you'd like to bring?
Sure. I think it's probably quite apparent in all of our games that bringing out your leader as late as possible. I think that when you bring them out too early, and I've definitely fallen for this trap with Sabine, who's notoriously quite a weak leader, they will get targeted straight away and die. And once they're out, they're out. Thankfully, Sabine's leader is, like, her action's pretty good still, like, off the board, but ideally you really want that extra 3-4 damage, whatever it's going to be, on the last turn, because it really can win you the game, whether or not it's like hitting through a sentinel to open someone up or just like extra damage on a base. I think it's a really important tip. I'd like to hear from you guys as well if you agree.
Yeah, I think just as important as it is in Premiere, it's also when you do it during a round. Like, if you deploy your leader when everyone's got resources available and then it gets sniped by some stupid event that costs like 1, you've only got yourself to blame. So you have to like really pay attention to everyone's resources before you decide to even deploy. It's like another calculation you always have to remember.
Absolutely. I think too many times, especially with piloting leaders, I'll get too excited about deploying a Vader on a ship and trying to make it a 6/6, and I look over and everyone's got 4 or 5 resources left, and suddenly it's going to get like rival fooled or something, or even just 1 resource for a confiscate or whatever it is that just defeats an upgrade, and it's the most heart-wrenching thing. So yeah, I think it's a really good idea to delay as much as possible, but also just be very aware of your other opponents at the tables, what leaders they have deployed or haven't deployed, and when they deploy as well. There's some really tough leaders like Chewbacca that when he drops is a real hard thing to get through. So you really have to sort of think, okay, are they going to drop it this turn? Are they going to wait until the last minute to drop it? And is it worth getting damage in beforehand or weakening the board state before that big unit drops?
Definitely.
Very true.
Yeah, 100%.
Very true.
I think it kind of leads into our second tip, which is to not get too strong too early. If you're kind of seen as a threat, or if you've suddenly got units out when everyone else has got 1 or 2, you're going to be a target. You're going to be scary to other players, and then they're going to combine. And in the same sense, you're going to play some of your stronger units and there's only 1 in the deck. If you play that too soon and it gets taken out, it's gone. So it's same with the leaders. Kind of choose when you're playing it. Like, if you're going to play a really strong card, it's going to come in exhausted most of the time, unless obviously there's conditions where it won't. So don't play it as your first turn for that phase when everyone else has got resources and all their units ready. Wait until everyone's units are exhausted and they've played all of their resources, and then play your strongest card, and so it's ready for the next round.
Yeah, and like going against that, never underestimate smaller units. Like my Padme and Rex, it can be super powerful having smaller units all together, and obviously a lot of them require coordinate, and that's you just sometimes you can fly under the radar. People just don't think you're strong because your units aren't physically strong, but together they can be formidable. And then there's obviously like similar leaders like Holdo that can buff up other smaller units, and yeah, it's not something you should forget to do really. Like don't take them out of the race just because they're not like the strongest leaders. They have the attributes to make things hard for your opponents.
I think that temporary buff is a really important one actually. Like you can play weaker stuff, but if you've planned a deck out that helps you buff up units temporarily, you might win the political fight by saying, oh, it's only going to be for this phase, or it's only going to be for one attack, and then it's done, and then he's back to being a small unit, and like no one ever really puts the target on you, but you still get the full benefit of being able to swing with a pumped up unit and get the damage in when you want, and then go back to sort of hiding away while everyone else squabbles. That can be really powerful, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's definitely more important than when Mando and Bo-Katan start buffing up singular units and you're Voltroning things and they're getting really strong, and you know you're just going to paint a target because no one wants a 6/6 on like turn 2 or something. No. So it gets really, really dicey, sort of balancing the act between wanting a powerful board state but not being too powerful to be a target for that unit to just die, and suddenly you've used 3 or 4 cards to give this one unit everything, and now you're down in hand size and you've lost all those cards and you might not be able to return them.
Yeah, and then off that is like it's playing the table, like the politics of it all. You just you like Henry mentioned, oh, it's only for the phase. Like you're playing your opponents as much as you're playing the cards.
People forget quickly, so it's good to just keep reminding them.
And you know, rivalries exist, and I don't know how it works. Obviously, in these like these planetary competitions, maybe it's different, but I would assume it's fair game for all.
Yeah. You're there to have fun, but at the end of the day, there are prizes up for grabs, so people are going to bring their A game to these kind of pods.
Yep. Absolutely.
The prizes that you can potentially get at the Galactics, they will be quite valuable cards in the long run because that's the only time you'll get them. So, yeah, you could definitely expect that everyone at the table is going to be doing the best to just get the edge on other people, including making alliances where possible or pitting people against each other. Being that annoying thorn that's just reminding people like, oh, he's getting a bit forward, isn't he? Like,
yes, Steve.
If someone's got like a yellow deck,
yes,
if someone's
Steve.
got like a yellow deck, they've got like 3 resources left. Maybe just tell the table, you might have a surprise strike in there.
Yeah.
He might not, but it puts the idea in everyone's head that actually we need to be worried about his units, and it just takes the heat off of you. So definitely, obviously, if you try and play it too much, if you try and orchestrate the table, people are going to kind of rise up, and so you've got to. But yeah, just remind people, because they might not have realized they might not, they might be thinking definitely about their hand. So maybe just remind people sometimes that is a strong unit, or if he's playing
he's got
well, for instance, if Nadia's got like a couple of units out, it's like, and she's playing a coordinate deck, remind people, one more card and that heavy is is a problem.
Healer's going to drop and suddenly it's really difficult to deal with.
It's true.
Yeah.
And like reminding people about the leaders. So as you're taking your turn, you could maybe vocalize a couple of things just to nudge people, like, oh, well, I might play that, but then he's probably going to deploy his leader, which is going to be a problem for a lot of us. So you can, even if it is inconsequential to what you're about to decide on doing, it's just a way for you to nudge information, just sort of move the needle a bit on who's actually going to be the target now. Because there is always,
Yep.
I think there's always a target. I mean, the first couple of rounds starts off, pretty even normally. Most people tend to just keep the health balanced. But as it goes further, a target reveals themselves somehow. Someone becomes too strong, and so everyone decides to whittle them down,
Someone throws down a war juggernaut, and
Ah, yeah. War Juggernaut
There it
is, yeah. You got if you're running red, you got to run War Juggernaut because you've got 3
100%.
times as many targets to tap, to ping damage on and make him enormous. Maybe too enormous,
Absolutely ridiculous.
but it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I put War Juggernaut in all of my red decks. Any
Yeah.
red, like,
Why not?
sit there.
Yeah.
It's a good card. It's a really good card to put down. I mean, you basically force all of your opponents into a position where it's like, you're going to have to deal with this thing, otherwise it's going to do a lot of damage. And most of the time, it's within kill range of someone, so
Yep.
people are going to have to start sacking units into it or burning some good cards.
You can win yourself
then,
a game
I mean,
on the 5th resource if you do it right.
Yeah.
With War
Yeah.
Juggernaut.
I mean,
That's
you can always play War Juggernaut as a sacrificial lamb if you want to play your
It's true.
leaders at the same time. Everyone's going to be concentrating on that Juggernaut
Mhm.
and leaving your other units alone.
It's true.
Yeah, he's like basically a sentinel at that point.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
A really strong sentinel because it
Yeah.
usually hits for 10 every
Yeah.
turn.
I don't think anyone's been able to ever hit with a War Juggernaut when they've played it. I
I
don't know, am
think-
I wrong?
So maybe that's a tip.
Didn't you
then.
have you
Like-
had an option where it was like 13 damage?
Yeah.
I've never been able to hit anything. Like, it dies or gets exhausted
Mhm.
before I can actually hit with it.
So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that's it then.
Anyway,
you actually
Alex.
don't ping too much. If you are playing a War Juggernaut, only ping as
That's
much as you
true.
need
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
Mm,
that's
yeah.
it is your choice.
It's true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to take us through the next tip, Alex?
Yeah, I think one, and it's probably more specific to kind of tournaments or kind of competitive play, but it's to kind of everyone's going to build a deck that's synergizes the leaders, but to have a deck that's really simple to play doesn't require you to if it's a simple deck and you're not thinking, because all of the units all work with each other, it makes it so much easier to play. And then you're not kind of thinking, oh, this card with this deck, this doesn't quite work, I need to wait for this card to work. Then you're kind of backing yourself into a corner. So simpler decks sometimes are a lot easier to play with, especially
Yeah.
like I said, if you're playing like 3 games a day, you'd be surprised like the mental toll it can take to juggle a complicated deck.
Absolutely.
Like
yeah.
your Lair and Luke. So simple.
Yeah,
It's so
just
effective.
rebels.
Yeah.
Everything's a rebel.
So simple.
Yeah, everything's
Everything's heroism.
most of it's
or rebel, or
yeah,
easy
yeah.
to pilot.
So
yeah.
any card you play in that just works. Doesn't need much thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen control players or players that play really complex games, and in Premier it's like round 7, they've played maybe 20 games by then, and they're exhausted and they're making mistakes, and it's just like you did that to yourself by choosing that deck to run that for the day. So make it easier on yourself. You've got 3 other players, to worry about, and then your own deck. So simplify it for a game and see how that does. And you don't need to make yourself a challenge. You got enough to
Yeah.
worry about.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good point.
I'd say when you are considering your deck building as well, it's the leader choice obviously is what tends to decide your deck archetype or the initial game plan. But it's really important, I think, to not choose a pair of leaders that over-index on needing to use resources to use their actions or needing to use the force. Because if both of your leaders need to use the force, you're limiting yourself every phase, probably. Because are you going to get the force twice a phase? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. When people see that you're trying to do that every turn, they're going to try and limit that capacity. So if both your leaders require you to tap resources to use their action, it's just fewer cards that you get to play and you'll just start losing the race and losing steam, and you won't be able to actually do anything with your leaders because you'll have no cards on the board because you're too busy spending resources just to use your leaders. So it's a vicious cycle. So like limit that aspect of deck building. One leader that does it and one that does it for a free action, probably best. Even better if they're both free actions, because then there's no limitations to how often you can do it. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we've all been there where we've only played maybe like 5 cards in an entire game.
Yeah.
Like, you just feel like you're like backed against a wall. There's nothing you can do. And because
it's a hard balance,
even if you put in cards that create the force and, you know, maybe readies your resources, there's no guarantee you're gonna pick them up. Your draw's not guaranteed to be perfect.
Yeah.
So
the big decks,
just better off not doing it, just not being reliant on it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think
Sorry, go on, Steve.
I was just gonna say it's so difficult to play behind curve in like any game, let alone Twin Suns, when you've got 3 other opponents that maybe even ramping, so they're beyond the curve. And it's like, if you're paying 2 resources a turn just to do 2 actions from your leaders, it becomes very slow because you might only be playing 1 smaller unit per round, and that can really harm you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep pace with
Yeah,
the
I mean,
table.
and we typically play, like in our games, when it gets kind of added up, we might play maybe somewhere between 15 to 20 cards each. So you're not gonna see, so like you can't build your deck around certain cards. You have to have kind of you're not going to see, you're maybe going to see maybe a quarter of your deck. And you don't want to limit yourself by then having to play 2 resources behind curve, or because your leaders require too much kind of work to get the whole kind of deck working.
Yeah, it ties into the simpler decks, easier leaders, stick to a theme, like Luke Leia with Rebels, me with Republic, or like, Pia and whatever you do, Alex,
big
just
triangles, basically.
yeah. Just like have like a theme and just stick to it.
Yeah, like the Imperial deck, again, it's just super easy because I mean, there's so many Imperial cards, and a lot of them, even if you don't kind of buff them up, they all kind of work together, and a lot of Imperial cards buff Imperial cards. So in that sense, you don't even sometimes need your leaders to be doing stuff all the time.
Yeah,
definitely.
One thing I hope that people remember is that there's no suspended list as well for Twin Suns. So the cards that have been decided to be a problem, you can let them be a problem in Twin Suns. So Triple Dark Raid, run it. Search is so powerful in Twin Suns because the decks are fat and you get 1 copy of a card. So finding the cards you need, if you're really trying to look for some kind of strategy, a Triple Dark Raid sorts you out. And everyone else, including Django as a leader. You thought Django with War Juggernaut was bad in Premiere. In Twin Suns, Jesus Christ. Tap that entire board of 3 players and then you're laughing. You'll become the target, but you're laughing.
We haven't done that yet, actually.
I think because I feel like I'd be too much of a dick if I played Django. But he is legal.
We've seen how
you
it
could
goes
run
with
it.
Boba, so
yeah.
Be the first one to die.
Yeah, you would, 100%.
Before you even pull that combo off, you're just gonna die. Yeah.
So use it wisely, but you can use those suspended cards. So if you want to run DJ, if you want to run Django, you want to run even Boba Fett from set 1, you can. Think about them in your deck building.
Viable.
Yeah, they're all very good cards. They all happen to be cunning because cunning is the most powerful aspect, clearly.
Yeah, and building on that, obviously with cunning, there's just so many smuggle cards, and that's another good thing to do is just really try and use smuggle if it co-aligns with your deck.
Yep.
And it preserves your hand, saves things for later.
Win you the game.
Yeah, it could,
Yeah,
it
I mean-
it
really
could win you the
does.
game. It could be that clutch move at the end.
My
Where-
favorite card, I think, in Twin Suns is the red Heroism Cassian Andor
Oh
that
my
you
God,
can smuggle
yeah.
in ready,
Mm.
because it's any time I ever play a red Heroism deck, I'm always going to put that card in there, because there's a chance I see him, I put him in my resource, I've got a free 3 hitter just waiting to come out, and it's going to come out at some point. You can wait until the last possible moment. If you've got those resources ready, bam, there he is. 3 damage, could win you the game. I think it's just such a underused mechanic that can be really, really helpful. And of course, there's other cards as well. Smuggle to heal. No one's really going to expect that if you've got nothing in your hand or something, and you're like,
Mm.
bam, here's a couple of health because I've just smuggled in a card and you didn't know it was in my resources. I think there's a lot of utility there that can absolutely throw your opponents off guard if they're not expecting a couple of smuggle units in there.
Yeah, like you said, like we were saying earlier, if you're trying to play simpler decks, smuggle as a mechanic helps you play simpler, because it's really hard in a singleton format knowing what to resource. You could just never predict what's going to happen that round. But when you see a smuggle card come up, you're like, oh great, the decision's made for me. I'm going to resource the smuggle card, because at least I'm keeping the rest of my hand going. So yeah, smuggle's very useful, whatever you can fit in there. And there's a lot of good smuggle cards that I think are very meta in Premier and still have just as good an effect in Twin Suns. You know, timely intervention, if you want to ambush something out, because most people don't run a rare base, so you're not going to see an energy conversion lab, so most people won't be ambushing something out of nowhere, but you could. It costs you a bit more, but you could. So yeah, smuggle's banging. Great,
Really good.
great mechanic. I hope we see more smuggle cards in the future, but yeah, chuck them all in.
Same. Absolutely.
Yeah, what other cards specifically would we recommend in terms of maybe getting a win?
I think any card, there's a lot of cards that are kind of mid for Premier, but become enhanced in Twin Suns purely because of the wording on the card, where it says each opponent or each player. If you see that card, if it mentions the word each, put it in your deck. K2SO is insane in Twin Suns. He's great in Premier. He's insane in Twin Suns.
Really good.
Hit everyone
Zero
for
the
free.
Hut as well.
Zero the Hut. Busted. No one plays him in Premier. So good in Twin Suns.
Absolutely amazing. Just start exhausting resources. It's phenomenal.
Yep. Love it. Then there's also like Chancellor Palpatine as a leader. Hits everyone else's base for 2.
Yeah, it's
Everyone's
crazy.
base.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's great. I love it.
Yeah, Sabine,
Absolutely
like
love
you
it.
mentioned, Sabine as a leader hits everyone's base. So if it says each in the text, run them. They're powerful.
Stick it in.
Merciless contest. So funny.
Oh,
You let everyone play their units, and then you claim on turn 1, and then you play Merciless Contest, and you wipe the board. Funny as
they're
hell.
all gone.
So
Great stuff.
funny.
One of my favorites.
I think on that as well, there's certain cards that you might have like a repair, or even like a low cost sentinel, that I'd probably advise you keep until the end of the game. Even
Yeah.
if you're 5, maybe 8 health worse than 3 people left on the table, unless you're in danger, you can keep it, because everyone else is going to attack and try and level the board, try and level everyone's health, and then you've got that repair card. Same as if you've all got off, you might play repair, then you've got 3 health more than everyone else. The next hit's probably coming your way. You've just wasted a card. Same as just really low. I mean, any kind of sentinel, it doesn't even have to be powerful, but you know, end game, you play out even a small sentinel, unless they've got saboteur or overwhelm, you've just protected your base from being hit for possibly huge amounts. And you've only got one of them, again, only the one card. There's some cards, again, repair, it's a 1 cost.
Yeah.
Just leave it until
Really
the end.
powerful.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think Yeah, it's not just the repairing, it's also those 1-2 cost event cards that add a buff just for
Yeah.
an attack.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
those
yeah.
can do such damage and be the reason you won. So yeah, there's
Yep.
so many of those kinds of cards you can do.
Yeah, giving a unit saboteur near the end, give them cards +2 attack, you know, attacking with 2 units at the same time as a surprise is really
Yeah,
powerful, and it's not something you need to do in round 3 to
Yep.
put pressure
Yeah.
on one person.
Yeah.
You're going to
Yeah.
get attacked.
The maths gets
Yeah.
really
it's-
tricky towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
And everyone is like crunching their own personal numbers based on the hand that they see in front of them. And the moment you can do anything to throw everyone's math off, you are just throwing the table into disarray. They're disoriented, and they're going to start making bad decisions that can work in your favor. So you can even do something very funny and buff someone else's unit, whatever it is. Do something to mess up the maths, and people just start scrambling, looking for a way out. Just try and keep the heat off yourself while you do it, but yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think
early.
Go on.
Yeah, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, buffing early is just not ideal.
Yeah.
Buff at the end. Save your upgrades, save your events. And
when you
I
know you
think-
can pull off the combos.
Exactly. I actually don't think there's any point upgrading anything before round 4.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 even.
Unless it's just part of what your leader does, if you know, then
Yeah.
fine. Because people are like,
Unless
"Oh,
that-
that's okay. You're not trying to do something weird. That's just what your deck does. Fine."
When you throw down a Grievous and 3 lightsabers, you know, there's going to be an issue there.
Where's the fourth? Yeah, come on. Yeah, it's true.
I'd
Yeah,
love to
Steve
see
was
that
saying.
combo get pulled off. I was just going to say, I
Same.
think this is where like some really good bounties can come into play, because you
Yeah.
can really sort of distract
Yeah.
potential lethal by presenting opportunities to the other players at the table of maybe readying more resources, like Henry was saying about really throwing off the maths. If suddenly you put a bounty down that lets someone ready a resource, that might change the entire round, how they're going to play. They might be able to play a card they never thought was possible. Even just you could be absolutely wild and throw down the bounty that lets you heal for 3 or 6 or whatever it is, for if it's on a unique unit, and suddenly everyone's going to go for that unit so they can try and heal more. But then does that mean everyone else is going to try and attack them down before they get the heal? It's a really interesting mechanic that I think is also not utilized too much in Twin Suns, again because it's singleton format. You're never guaranteed to see those cards, but if you draw it towards the end of a game, might be worth hanging on to, because they're usually cheap to play and can really upset the board state if used correctly.
Yeah. Distraction. Never actually
Exactly.
thought of that. It's a really good tip, Henry. And Steve.
Oh no, I'm screwed. I'm never going to win another game now. Gutted.
I feel like I haven't won in ages. I'm due one.
No, you did.
Yes.
Surely you have.
No.
I think you won. Didn't you win like 3 games ago or something? Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's
Not that
quite recent.
Alright,
Yeah.
guys.
I think you're like
yeah.
the second winner on the.
Really playing the mind
No,
games for the next.
Yeah, this is it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It already started. Planting the seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple more tips. Anyone want to go?
I think one is it's related to like the action economy of Twin Suns, in that you have 3 other players to play against, and you have so many actions you can possibly do because of your resources are finite, whether or not you can use your leader ability, etc. Sometimes it's good to just not hasten your action economy. Like, if you think you doing if you're playing a certain card and it's going to mean that you get to do one less thing to stall the round, might not be a good idea, because it means that you've got one less like turn to delay deploying your leader, for example. So like staying in the phase for as long as possible until you're ready to do what you want is really useful. Also very useful for forcing people to take tokens when you know They don't want that token right now. I know they don't. So I'm going to make them take it and just put the pressure on. Yeah.
No one wants the plan.
No
No one ever
Terrible.
wants the plan.
Horrible.
I think we're wrong. I
It's a
think
horrible move.
everyone in the comments says that the plan's great. I don't get it. I don't see
I
it.
don't get it
I
either.
don't see it yet.
Mulligans.
They've clearly
You
never
need-
had to take a plan.
Yeah. I think the plan
Yeah.
sucks. Maybe in the future the plan will be great. But right now, I like all my cards in my hand. I don't want to get rid of them. I want to play them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a singleton format.
Yeah.
One of those cards is gone for the game.
Gone. Absolutely gone.
It's not coming. If it's off an 80 card deck, it's not coming back.
No one's playing Search Your Feelings in Twin Suns. Because that is insane. So
Ridiculous.
I'm not seeing the card again. It's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, forcing people to take tokens, being smart with your action economy. Just stay in the round until you're ready to check out by taking a token when it suits you. Not, I've got nothing left to do. Either I deploy my leader or I take a token. If I deploy my leader, they've got loads of resources. They're going to get destroyed. So now you're just getting yourself in a bad cycle, which you could have prevented if you'd slowed down a bit. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think it's really,
Yeah.
really important to just make sure you're slowing the game down to a pace you can keep up, especially if you do have leaders that cost resource to use an action or something. If you can then keep playing in the round for that long, you might be able to gain an advantage again by being in it still. And I think it is really important not having to trash that card in your, or not trash, but not bottom deck the card in your hand that you're planning around. There is a chance that the plan will get you the card that you want. It's
Maybe.
very unlikely.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, you're gonna want to grab initiative or maybe even blast to stop damage. But you can also play around and like we mentioned earlier about playing the table. If you are in a position where the blast is gonna maybe make you win the game, maybe you can say that to the table in a way that isn't so obvious. Just if this
Yeah.
person takes the blast, they're going to be within kill range. So then someone takes the blast and suddenly you might have an advantage there to maybe even deploy your leaders and get lethal in that round if all the tokens have been taken.
The blast is huge at the end. Everyone,
Yeah, I mean, it's
Everyone
won a few
forgets.
games of ours.
big time.
Yeah.
It could win you the game
Yeah.
or it could get you a tie. But
Could
yeah,
lose you the game.
Lost a
It could lose you the game.
tie.
But if you think if you think this round, this is the last round ahead of time, also remind yourself, and the blast will also add another. So
Always
remember that.
forget. Always
So-
forget.
Especially when there's Sabine in the runnings.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So plan accordingly for the blast. There was one game I won because I remembered, not in our games, it was in a local game at Bad Moon. I remembered that the blast would still have to be taken, and this was about 3 rounds before. I thought, yeah, okay. And everyone will have passed by then. He'll be dead. He'll have to take the blast, and then I'll be able to hit for 1 and win the game on a double heal. And it worked. It was a lot of planning, and it was mentally draining, but remembering it was the only reason I won that game. Because if I hadn't remembered that, I probably would have thought, we're going to go another round, actually, so I'm not going to try and go for the kill here. And maybe then I would have lost. So
I can't do that kind of maths in this head.
maths is crazy.
It's too much.
It is a lot.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Take notes. You know what? Take notes.
Yeah.
Bring a notepad to your Twin Sons pod.
I mean,
pod
if you're
you want to.
playing Yellow Fawn,
Oh yeah.
if you're playing, then you know you got not. It's not just the 1 or 2 cards. It's 4 cards you're trying to remember. So
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
Oh,
we got a cat.
it's like cat.
Little Loath cat.
this is.
Yay.
Thought it was Chewbacca for a sec.
Yay.
Oh, hello.
What's their name?
Philip.
Philip.
Nice.
Oh,
That's quite a nice cat name,
Philip.
actually.
That's brilliant.
So
That's good.
cute. All right, yeah. So the last tip, it's there's so many ways you can win,
Yep.
and one of the most obvious things to do at the end is heal. So like adding in some restore cards in there, and
Mhm.
it's one of those things that may or may not come up, but
Yeah.
you never know. You never know.
I think
I mean,
there's some like an upgrade. Devotion is a great card. If you can,
Yeah.
Yeah.
low cost, gives you restore 2. Even if you put
Oh,
that on a,
fun.
you might have a unit. You might have a clone. It's a 2/2. people think you're not gonna, what's that? You slap a devotion on it, now it hits for 4 and restores 2.
Yeah.
It's
I'm sorry.
Philip's great.
Philip's great.
I love
It's
Philip.
like he
I
knows.
think Philip wants attention.
Nah, yeah.
That's why the
fifth member.
camera. She was just, he was just banging his head, rubbing his head against the laptop. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No,
love Philip.
at the end game, yeah, you want to remember there's multiple ways people can win this. There's the ways I can win it based on what I know in my hands, and planning accordingly, like keeping that late game sentinel in your hand, keeping that late game heal, finding a way to get restore. Sure, you might not be playing a deck that is blue, so you might not have a lot of restore in your deck. But you got to think creatively around ways that you can include that kind of game plan. So you'll be building a simple deck that you can play all day, but you'll also be building a deck that can find other ways to win when necessary, because you can't rely on finding the perfect cards in an 80 card deck. It's just not going to happen. You're never going to see your perfect draw.
Yeah.
You can't force it.
And you shouldn't stress about the numbers. Even if
Yeah.
you've got just a couple of restores, a couple of sentinels, you just never know what your draw is going to be. So it might come at the perfect time, but you just can't put too much pressure on the keywords unless integral to your leaders.
Yeah.
So it's always worth throwing in 1 or 2 sentinels, a couple of restores, in any form, units or upgrades, like Alex said. Because it could save you the game.
Yep, every point matters. Every 1 restore, every 1 damage, even tokens. They can really change the game if you're not careful.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that's all our tips. Does anyone have any ones they just thought of?
Just stay hydrated
No.
throughout your day. Honestly, stay hydrated. They're
Yeah.
long days going to these kind of events. People don't eat right. People don't stretch. People don't drink enough water during them. Do that. Your brain will thank you, and maybe your prizes at the end will thank you as well, because you played better purely because you are looking after yourself, because you're a human being. So yeah, get the water in. Definitely take breaks.
That's nice.
It's true. I see people just burning out, and they're just chugging sugary drinks and like eating crap. And then what do you think was gonna happen? Eat right, take breaks, you'll be fine. And it is still a casual game. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
So what if you don't
Yeah,
wake
I
up?
would say have
The
fun.
most
is the
important.
best.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you're playing, if you're playing with friends, it's different than when you're playing in, in say tournaments or where kind of prize tickets are available. But yeah, I mean, the reason why Twin Suns, I think why we like it so much is just the kind of combinations you wouldn't kind of see. And even if I remember one game where Henry brought out, was it Endless Legion? What was the card?
Yeah, Endless Legion.
Yeah.
Honestly, that wouldn't happen anywhere else.
No, and
Ridiculous.
pretty much all 3 of us dead. He was on like 20 health at the end,
Mhm.
but it's a great way to go.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no point there's no point getting tilted in this game. That you're all just gonna have a fun game, and someone will win at the end of it. That's the only reality of this game.
Yeah, you can plan as much as possible, but the fact is you'll never know what the other 3 people are thinking. Hence why it can take us so long to
So
do
difficult
a game,
sometimes.
because everyone's just thinking like he's gonna do this and then he's gonna do that, and then it's impossible. You don't read minds. You'll never know. So just enjoy it and play the way you want to play, and don't get like hung up too much. I'd say don't get hung up on the numbers. I know that it can win you sometimes, but
Sometimes
Go
you
with
just
the
gotta
flow.
use the force. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Nice.
okay,
Nice.
Henry.
It is. There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
That's the cheesy way to sign it off.
Good
Well,
or evil.
yeah, good or evil. That's true. That's true. Well, I think that's all we got. So hopefully these tips help you win some more Twin Suns games, whether they're at big events like the Galactics, which are happening literally in a week's time, or just any other events you happen to be going to in your game stores, drop your own recommendations down below as well if you've got any tips you want to share with the rest of the community. Yeah,
love seeing people's recommendations, either
Exactly.
for leaders or
yep,
yeah.
We're still learning.
definitely.
Yeah.
Every set changes everything, so it's always
Literally.
a new game basically. But yeah, we'll be having our own set 5 games coming up soon. We've got a couple of sealed games that you can check out currently, but we're also about to start filming some new games with constructed decks, which will be very fun. A lot of force stuff going on there, and hidden and crazy leader combos, I'm sure. So make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of our Twin Suns games. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck to everyone going to the Galactics. Hope you have a lot of fun. Let us know about it, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.